When you play a team with Edmonton's speed, because you're not always going to be on top of them or ahead of them, sometimes you're a little off. So those guys can keep players to the outside, keep the speed to the outside, because they can just kind of hold hands in the middle and cover the boards.
Front right.
Paul, you've coached in a lot of playoff series. You've coached in multiple finals. What is it about the level of play between these two teams? Usually you get to this point, a lot of teams are banged up, or there's an underdog here.
Yeah.
These are the two best teams. What do you make of how good the quality of play has been in this series and how tight the margin of error is?
Yeah, it's been fast. Like from the bench, the speed seems to be really good. And the first period in game two, there's lots of action at both ends of the ice, but neither team is casual with their defense at all. It's both teams have, I think, really strong defensive schemes. It's just a testament to the quality of the talent level, the depth of the talent level, because it feels from the bench they're getting up and down the ice with really fast.
Left side, second row.
Hey, Paul. Were you generally happy with both games, or was there a discernible leap in quality from game one to game two for you?
I thought if I had concerns about a piece of our game in game one, I was slightly less concerned about it in game two, but it was still there. And what you're trying to balance is, how much do you expect your team to get better when you're playing against a very, very good team? So I don't expect. Both teams will have times where they look like they've got possession of the game, but it's just not going to last. It doesn't last, and it's not. I haven't felt an ebb and flow in terms of the energy level on the ice. So it's been, but sometimes there's blocks of times where one team kind of owns the flow of the play, and they almost seem to be coincidental to the icings. You get in a couple of icings, and then there's a block of time where you get to half ice the team a little bit, and they've done that to us, and we've done that to them. But other than that, I don't think there's been much of a breakdown in structure by either team. They're not far off it.
Back left, Dan.
Yeah. Paul, I don't know how much an experienced team, a team that's been here before, needs it, but Nate Schmidt is a guy who's obviously playing well on the ice, but he brings energy, he brings noise off the ice. He probably, can cut some tension with the way he is. I wonder, how important a guy like that is. Do you view that to be an important aspect right now when, even if you're experienced, the pressure's still up?
Yeah. Well, that was part of the conversation in the summer last year, because I'd had him briefly, and he's a big smile guy, right? Lots of chatter, and we need that. We lost a few of those guys. Like, we still talk about some of the players that played here for the last 2 years that aren't here anymore, as they were really, really important. Nick Cousins in Ottawa is a chirper, right? He never stopped talking. But Mahura, like a name that maybe you wouldn't know, Montour, those guys never shut up, which was great for us. And then Nate does that. I think, shock to you, Brad Marchand does that a little bit. But we got some Finnish guys. Nico Mikkola is probably the most vocal. But we got some other guys that now they don't have to, right? They don't have to. When it gets a little tighter, a little bit tense, they don't have to come out of personality to try to lead almost by. We got lots of guys that can do that, and they're really important, for sure.
Right side, third row.
First time back in this building since
I haven't been in here. No, it wasn't finished when we did the ring. Yeah, the ring ceremony, this place wasn't done when we came in. And it was set up quite a bit different. This is my first time seeing this. It was quite a spot. They did a great job on it.
That wasn't my crap.
That's all you get, George. Sorry, brother.
Jonah Gadovich last
Yeah.
year doesn't get to play, does dress for Game 7 to come out and get all that stuff. But how important is it for him to be really, really, really a part of this now?
Well, we felt right from the time that we signed him, we thought he was positionally very, very good. And he played both sides. And at the end of the year, so our year-end meeting was, Jonah, if you can find a half step, he's a very strong man, he's a very fit man. If he could find a half step, then you could be very impactful in these games. He just doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He hits heavy. He's an incredibly clean player. He's also has a bit of an enforcer role. He's as tough as they come in this league. He's exceptionally clean. So when he gets a 5, he rarely gets a 2 and a 5. Right? Very smart player. He scored 46 goals in junior, right? And that's real. Like, he can shoot a puck. It's heavy. But we felt he got faster. And then he's had a kind of a bunch of, when we got him, he was rehabbing off injury. We had a pretty significant one 2 years ago. Felt he was slightly behind it kind of the whole year. And then at the starts of the years, he's had some injuries. But what happened this year is he had a long run of health. And then, said before, in the last 6 weeks of our season, we had a very, very difficult schedule, and that's when Greer, Nosek, and Gadovich went together, and they were really good. There were nights they were our best line. It's not always how many goals you score. I mean, in terms of energy level, consistency of systematic routes, the basics. So I think as a group, and then when they came in the Toronto series, that for me was the inflection point. Right? They had kind of got us back to more of our style of game. So Jonah's a big part of that.
Right side, second row.
Paul, is there something about Brad's game that surprised you or you didn't expect coaching him as opposed to watching him from afar? And also as a person, what did you learn about him?
Yeah, well, the hockey part of it, you need to get on the ice with these guys before you get a real sense of what they can do. And I didn't appreciate how good his hands are. It's in that kind of Matthew Tkachuk, some of the things they do in the small. For him to control that puck after Leon Draisaitl came, got him on the back check and got a stick over puck and still was able to, that's a set of hands that's at the top end, right? Those guys are special. So I didn't know that until you get on the ice with them. The personality part, there was a little bit of Matthew Tkachuk in there. I'm in Winnipeg, he's in Calgary. I'm not a big Matthew Tkachuk fan. I understand the fans don't like those guys. I was one of them, and then he's in Boston. We're here. We had the two heaviest series that I've ever been a part of are the two Boston series last year. I mean, they're nasty. This is mild compared to what was going on there. So, but how positive he is every day. He's in a great mood every day. And it starts at breakfast from the time he walks in, right? And that's just who he is. He's a very upbeat, positive, caring person. So, I mean, I don't watch all the interviews, but I'll watch some. And for me, with Brad, went back to, and I've told the story before, we're playing Boston, and it's ugly. And he did an interview, and it was outstanding. Like, it was so good about, it would have benefited him to take a different tact in the media, because at that point, it's the Sam Bennett's the scourge of the earth, and the Bruins are, it's unfair. And he came out and called the series exactly the way it was played. He was right about it. He was fair. Like, he was unbiased in his approach and positive about both teams. And I thought, well, like, his answers were better than I would have given if I was trying to support the Florida Panthers. But it was all honest and true. He's a great interview, I think. Because he'll talk about the game. He's not hiding anything, and he's telling the truth at the same time. He's an exceptional man. Really enjoyed having him.
Left side, second row.
Coach, I saw a comment recently about this
There's
team.
a real chance that I didn't say it. There's this AI thing going on.
I know. It's
So
out of control.
I got a text. I can't believe you said you coaches shouldn't touch the Stanley Cup. No, it's right here. It's got you saying it. I said, no, never said that.
Well, this comment seemed really fitting because someone
Here we
said
go.
nobody takes a punch like the Florida Panthers, right? The ability, no matter what circumstances you're in, to get right back up and keep fighting. And I'm just wondering if you could describe that quality in this team and how significant a role in particular it plays in a Stanley Cup Final.
I think that we take some beatings. We take hits. We get hit. The standard theme is people have a general, pretty strong idea of the style of game that we play, and they play the same game when they play us. These series don't look like maybe the series prior. So we're used to getting hit. I mean, and then specifically, we got beat 8-1 in the final last year, right? Like, that was real. I don't think there was a bad goal in there either. So you just kind of get used to it. You get beat up a little bit. Wake up in the morning, you don't feel great. This is easy for me. I wear a suit, so I'm fine in the next morning. But for the guys who play on both teams, you just get used to it.
Left side, third row.
Two quick things. I just wanted to know, you had that great emotional win in game 2. Do you wish you were playing tonight with the extra travel day? And then the second thing is, just really quickly, is the complexion of the series. I mean, you are one shot away from potentially having to win 4 or 5 to win the cup, and now you have home ice advantage. From a coaching standpoint, how much has the whole course of this series maybe turned on that win?
Not nearly as, and when I'm going to say this to you, David, I'm not saying that your perception is wrong. I'm just telling you my experience, and I'll speak for the Edmonton Oilers, even though I have no right to speak for them. It won't be as emotional in the room as it is outside the room. So it wasn't as devastating after game 1. It was 3-3. It wasn't as euphoric after game 2. Both teams will take the 2 days gladly. And not have, there aren't as many edges as you might think. Well, if they had played the next day, only get a day's rest, or they fly in the day. Those are minor factors that we'll look back on and say if whoever won because of that, and whoever lost, but I don't think any of that's true. This is so close out there. So you can take a look at that video, and I can find you 15 goals for the Edmonton Oilers. It just didn't go, and I can find you the exact same for the Florida Panthers. And all the factors that we talk about, which are interesting to talk about, and they're interesting in between days. I just don't think that they play. They're not an excuse. They just be a factor. So the 2 days off are great for both teams.
We'll take 2 more questions, right side, 4th row.
Paul, just a couple of years ago, I'm watching Luosterainen, and pretty good little player, and now I rewatched yesterday's game, and he almost seems like your defensive Forsling up front. How has he?
That's good.
Even the tying goal, he couldn't have done much more unless he chopped Perry's stick out of his hand. So, how have you seen his evolution?
He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know. How have you seen his evolution the last 3 years?
Okay, so for the words you said are important. You said he was a good little player, and I got on the elevator with him up there, and I looked up. He's a big man now. And that's what I noticed. Holy shit, Lusty, you're taller than I thought you were. But the Forsling up front, that's really good. Really good. Because what you haven't seen in the playoffs as much, but Gustav Forsling had some great offensive numbers this year and never got a sniff on the power play, right? So Luosterainen, we felt that Lundell and Luosterainen, that there was more offense there, but truly respected the fact that they never cheat for it. That if we could add a guy, and that's why Brad has been so good, so that Brad's kind of training, if you would, with Patrice Bergeron, a player that never cheated the game. That's the way he knows how to play the game, and so he fits perfectly with those 2 guys. They're going to do the right thing as hard as they can. They're very clean players. We have them, and that's why that's such a great fit. But there is offense there, and Brad's been able to bring that out of those 2. And so we talk about Lundell because he's got some really good numbers, but Luosterainen as well. I think Lundy had about 18 his first year, but I think anyway. It's there for them. Sometimes you need the right kind of veteran piece to bring it out. That was good, by the way. Well done.
Take 1 more, left side, 2nd row.
Paul, it sounds like you're pretty happy with, the way your team's executing your system, and as a coach, you like what you see. But we're watching 4-3 hockey. We're watching 5-4 hockey. There was a time when we would say, oh, boy, the coaches don't like this. I remember Daryl Sutter telling me, I got to have a 9.25 out of my goalie or it's not good enough.
Okay, that's fair. That's a really good point because I don't think either team's played poor defensively at all. I'm with that idea. The 2-1 game, that's more of what we're accustomed to. We're a defensive bent team. But you can watch the game, and you know if your team's playing as hard as it can defensively or if it's mentally right. And I think both teams are. I don't think either team. And the goaltending's been good, like really good. I know sometimes you look at the goals to decide how well a goalie played, but if you just skewed the top 15 chances which is a big number, right? Like A chances. Oh my God, they've made saves. So how is that possible? You got a coach, and I'm telling you the truth. I haven't shown a lot of defensive video, and that's almost all I show, almost all year. But I'm looking for it, and there's places that we got to get better, for sure. But we're not at a mid. There's places we hope to get better. Might be a better way of putting it. Both teams are competing defensively. They're blocking shots. They're battling. They're back checking. And it's still a high event game at some high-end skill.
So
Like,
are we
there's
in a
some
better
off-
place? Is the game in a better place than when that same result used to give us a 2-1 game back in 2011? Now it's given us a 5-4 game. Are we happy
Yeah.
with that?
Absolutely. Because then you always have hope. I'm talking about as a fan. If we get back to the two, there's nothing casual about the way that this is defended. And part of it is neither team passively defends. They're not going to give you a whole bunch of ice, sit back, wait, spit it down. Like when we're icing the puck, we're not trying to ice the puck, right? Same with them. There's been a bunch of that. We're trying to connect on something. So if you're a fan and your team is down 2-1 and you've lost all hope 10 minutes into the first period, well, that's not much of a sport. But if you're in Edmonton in game 2, you're sticking around. If you left with 19 seconds left, you left early, right? That for sure is good. For sure. The defensive compete on both teams has been outstanding. Like this is very competitive. Hard working, hard hitting, grinding. It's why there is more consternation, perhaps, about what could be a call and what couldn't be a call, because it's happening every 10 seconds instead of 3 times a period. It is being competed at a high level. Contested is the word I was looking for. Everything is contested all over the ice. So you're having more events, and it's more intense. But what a wonderful thing to be able to say that in the final instead of the first round. These men are going that hard. It's awesome.